In government, the people are led by the nose, while their representatives are led by the wallet. I'd like to look at how this plays out in two very different areas of our lives. So let's talk about old Vivek. Nice guy. He says he's going to fire 1 million bureaucrats. Now, we see the same thing happening also in our public schools. Principals complain they are stuck with bad teachers because it takes so much paperwork to fire them. The push is to weaken teachers' unions so principals can easily fire teachers, and as always, there is no backstory, no mention of how this claimed problem developed, no alternate perspective. There's only one way to look at it. Now, I'm a lifelong teacher, and I can tell you schools are not designed to free minds and develop intellect. Administrators' values and priorities are out of sync with learning, much more about financing. Martin Luther King said, "Intelligence is not enough. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education." The outdated information in some textbook does nothing to develop hearts and minds. Teachers themselves can be the greatest influence on their students. Kids grow and broaden their awareness through contact with adults who are mature, capable, generous, and knowledgeable. Good examples are the most significant things schools can contribute to human development. So, in the name of education, why do we always blame teachers as if their work environment is irrelevant? Why weaken the teachers and strengthen the money changers? Well, here's why. The way politicians operate is to nurture problems, never prevent. First, feed a problem, then present a knee-jerk solution that will serve the interests of their owners. Making it easier for principals to fire ineffective teachers is a classic example of this. The first step is to make the true goal of teaching, as outlined above, almost impossible. Load teachers with too many students, too many requirements, too many limitations. Then measure learning by some ridiculous standardized test. Finally, when the students prove they're not machines, when they show that they still have a shred of innate intelligence and humanity, that's the principal's excuse to fire the teacher and replace them with some green-haired idiot. The claimed solution doesn't improve education, it advances the real corporate agenda, a herd of powerless workers who can give the required answer, but who are incapable of seeing the real questions in life. True education would spread power among the people. False education only consolidates power in the hands of the rotten few and their trusted fools. This brings us back to old Vivek. He claims he's going to solve America's problems by firing 1 million bureaucrats. Let's think about it. Where do they work? Department of Education, Department of Energy, Food and Drug Administration. Those organizations were created to control industries, to protect the land and the people from ruthless corporate greed. But in the years since Reagan, in particular, these for-the-people government agencies have been prevented from doing their jobs. For example, the Food and Drug Administration used to test new foods, new additives, new drugs. Then Congress said, no, we'll just let the manufacturers do the testing. Call it smaller government. Well, we have recently seen the effect of this policy, haven't we? If we fire 1 million people whose job is to protect the public, a lot of corporations will be big winners. But who's left on our side? A bunch of sold-out politicians whose main goal in life is accumulating frequent flyer miles to Epstein's new island, wherever that is, Maui maybe? No, folks, what's needed is real public servants in all corners of government, people who want to do their jobs. Instead, we have a Congress of clowns doing what they're told by the elephant in the room, the corporations who profit from your misery, your vulnerability, your confusion. It's not even about profit anymore. They already have all the money. It's just power. The more power they get, the worse we live. Vivek has shown his hand. He's just another clown making sweet promises before the election. If he was anything else, he wouldn't be permitted to take part in the rhino debates. If he was like Trump, he'd be treated like Trump, or like Robert Kennedy Jr. If he could be trusted, he wouldn't be in the news at all. So we, the people, are up against a wall that Roosevelt, Truman, and Eisenhower allowed to be built. A wall that John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Robert Kennedy tried to tear down. If you get a chance to vote, vote for a fighter. Vote for the long shot. But we, the people, have to be fighters. Don't just sit around waiting for permission to vote in some rigged election. The very fact that Trump and Kennedy are being actively silenced is the outer layer of the rigging. Any election with no meaningful choice is already rigged. Fight it. And the first way to fight is to write to your senators, write to your representative. The people are more powerful than the corporations, but only if we speak. If you do nothing, if you get straight A's, you're a perfect product of a rotten education system. But if you are able to see the truth, if you can speak and keep speaking, you get an F for freedom.